Well, today is a very special episode of Tatooine Sons.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of another one of those pinch ourselves Tatooine Sons moments.
Absolutely. It's not every week we get to interview the writer and director of a new Star Wars special.
That's true. But today is one of those special days. We are so excited to talk with David Shayne and Ken Cunningham, the writer and director of Lego Star Wars Summer Vacation. This is Tatooine Sons.
It's true. All of it.
What is the name of the porg on the Millennium Falcon?
Force is strong in my family.
What do you think his name is? It's a big moment.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
Maybe Terbus?
Do or do not. There is no try.
Terbus? Pablo, if you're listening to this live stream, that porg's name is now Terbus. It's a good Star Wars name.
We're not done yet.
These guys recorded an awesome podcast called Tatooine Sons. Everybody was
desktop image, and it reminded me I was at work a couple days ago, and my supervisor
work?
I do work.
Really?
Yeah. My supervisor called over another intern and was like, Sam, he's like, you got to tell him the Terbus story or whatever. And I'm like, oh goodness. I'm like, of course. He's like, he's a huge Star Wars fan.
Yeah,
so
that's
he's
cool.
He's like, here, pull up a chair. And
That's awesome.
Like, share the story.
Such a cool story. Yeah, we'll volunteer that story with pretty much anybody that asks.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Welcome to Tatooine Sons, a pop culture podcast, the only fan podcast to name a canon Star Wars creature, and to be endorsed by the writer director of The Last Jedi, Rian Johnson,
And Knives Out 2.
and Knives Out 2, and a bunch of other stuff.
Looks pretty good.
It does. We believe that pop culture is the mythology of this generation, that there is a story. It is written on our souls, and that these myths speak to that story. And that is why we talk about Star Wars and Marvel and DC. We may even talk more about DC on this than actually anything that happened at San Diego Comic-Con and all of the epic franchises like Lord of the Rings that you love so much. I am David. I am the dad.
Hi, Dad.
Hello, gentlemen. I am honored to be joined every week by my two amazing sons, BB Nate. Go for it.
I just kind of feel bad for DC at this point. It's just can't catch a break.
can't.
It's pretty embarrassing.
It really is. Sam, what do you got going?
I don't know how they do it, but Rings of Power just keeps looking better and better.
I think it looks great.
I don't know.
I'm super pumped.
Can't wait to talk about it. Well, we talked about it in the teaser. Today's Star Wars segment is a special interview with the writer and the director of Lego Star Wars Summer Vacation, David Shayne and Ken Cunningham.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
Super exciting.
Absolutely. Very excited about that. Thank you so much for listening to Tatooine Sons, a pop culture podcast. Please follow the show on whatever podcast app you are tuning in on right now. Don't forget Podathon 2022. We're having a meeting this week. Some of the people are having there's like a meeting of the people.
Yeah.
You knew about it?
Yeah.
Were you tagged on it?
The meeting?
You didn't know anything about that.
I didn't get tagged on.
He didn't know anything about it. He's just saying it. Anyway, we're having a planning meeting about that this week. And then we're doing our interview with our special guest. We'll save the introduction of who that guest is. But it's a big deal.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, anyway, we're pretty excited, about that. So anyway, Podathon. It's happening on September 17th. I should say when that is, right? September 17th. It begins at 9 a.m. Eastern, and you're going to want to tune in. And we're going to raise, with your help, we're going to raise $10,000 for
that'd be great.
It's just going to be awesome.
That's so cool.
Let's talk some Star Wars.
Yeah.
Right? Following, I can't get my words out. Following the events of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, Rose, Rey, Finn, Poe, and Chewbacca.
Sadly, no Terbus.
No Terbus, but there are some porgs.
There were.
Are looking to relax in the summer sun after their fateful battle with Emperor Palpatine. The galaxy's heroes need a vacation badly, but as many family vacations often turn out, things don't go according to plan. And we are so excited to welcome back to Tatooine Sons the writer and the director of Lego Star Wars Summer Vacation, David Shayne and Ken Cunningham.
Wokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side, kid.
Rebellions are built on hope.
Force is with me, and I am with the Force.
If you live long enough, you see the same eyes in different people.
When we hear that recording in progress. All right. All right. Well, Ken and David, thank you guys so much for coming back on to Tatooine Sons, a pop culture podcast. We're super excited. We had you on last year for Terrifying Tales and get to talk a little bit more Lego Star Wars. So far, in these specials that you guys have been doing, you've kind of given us your own Star Wars twist, a Lego Star Wars twist on Life Day in the holiday special. And then you tried to scare us with Terrifying Tales like we just talked about. So why'd you guys decide to take us on a summer vacation now?
Yeah, that's a great question. That sort of came about as we were wrapping up Terrifying Tales, and we were still in production, and we were having a great time, and the team at Lucasfilm and Lego and I started talking about, well, what could we do next? And I think somebody just sort of mentioned taking a summer vacation or needing a vacation, and remembering the car trips that they went on with their kids, or excuse me, when they were kids, and we just started thinking about that. And, well, what does that look like on the Millennium Falcon? And it kind of rolled from there. It just became this really great setting. We were talking a lot about National Lampoon's Vacation and those kind of trips. I'm assuming as a father-son trio there, you guys have been on some trips together. And
yeah, quite a few times.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so that was where it just came from. It was sort of what's kind of the next thing we could do. And we're like, well, that sounds fun. And it went from there.
That's awesome.
Yeah. As you were mentioning, the holiday special it's a story about Rey, and then Terrifying Tales is a Poe Dameron story. So why'd you decide that Summer Vacation should be about Finn?
It felt like a chance to bring him front and center for exactly kind of the reasons you'd said. We had gotten to see Rey front and center, and Poe. Each character sort of naturally lent themselves to the kind of story we wanted to tell. Like Poe felt like the swaggery character who should learn a lesson about fear, and we had obviously started with Rey, so it was a really nice chance to bring Finn front and center and follow his emotional journey for a bit. It felt like Finn has, in a lot of ways, is the one to has discovered this family and brings them together, so family of friends, and so it was a really nice way to kind of center on that.
Yeah, Ken, what was it like for you to go from something that's scary, like Terrifying Tales, to something that's supposed to be like a fun, summer romp, like beach party bingo, that kind of stuff? Beach blanket bingo? That's what I'm thinking of right now.
It was great, honestly. I mean, I've always fantasized. In fact, I think I've thrown it out in meetings far before this one that I always wanted to do a musical.
Nice.
Wow. And then like it got teased a little bit. We were doing pickups for the Halloween special, and I was texting back and forth with David and Josh, and I can't remember if it was David or Josh. Somebody made a joke about there's this SNL skit where Carrie Fisher appeared and she did this beach song, sort of like making fun of the Beach Boys. And I was just like, oh my God, is this what's going to, and then lo and behold, there was. So yeah, it was great. I was like, oh yeah. Started watching Baz Luhrmann films and, just trying to channel that, figure out how to channel that,
That's fun.
That's so funny. Back about 4 months ago, BB Nate actually interviewed Michael Uslan, who's the executive producer of the Batman and every Batman movie all the way from 89 on. And he actually has a script that he was working on for a Star Wars Broadway musical that he actually sat down with George Lucas, and they were in the process of having conversations, and then it all fell apart with that. So maybe you could adapt that to a new Lego special. Maybe you just remember that it was us that told you about that gave you the idea.
Congratulations, you guys! You win on bringing out the most incredible piece of trivia ever. That is, I have no idea. I need to go. I'm going to. Is it on this podcast? It's on this podcast.
Yeah, I can send Lillian the link, and we'll get it to you guys.
I'll go find the link. Don't worry. That's amazing. That's incredible. Oh, yes. So cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And actually, he's got a musical that's going on Broadway about the story of his life now, as being the boy who loved Batman is what it's called. So it's pretty
great.
Cool. Yeah,
absolutely.
It's super exciting. Super cool.
A large part of summer vacation takes place on the Halcyon, also known as the Galactic Star Cruiser. So how similar is our character's experience on the Halcyon to what real world visitors experience when visiting Galaxy's Edge?
Unfortunately, neither Ken nor I have been there yet. When we were in production,
so we're all in the same boat.
We're going to find out. I have heard from a couple of people, some execs and some others, who've said it's pretty close.
Really?
You know, the compliment really goes to Ken's team is that they got the look and feel of it right. I'm dying to go on the Galactic Star Cruiser. I keep joking with Ken. I want our families to meet up and go down to Florida.
You need to go on a summer vacation.
Yeah.
To the Halcyon. I mean, it just kind of makes sense.
It's just begging to happen, right? I'm with you.
That's right.
You had mentioned. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So you mentioned that like you were throwing around ideas for this, and it was like, what's a summer vacation look like on the Falcon? What made you decide to ultimately go with the Halcyon, since y'all hadn't even really been on it yet?
Yeah, that's a great question. It came about basically as we knew we wanted to do this summer vacation story. We liked, particularly as you saw in Terrifying Tales, the way we were able to kind of do a big wraparound story that then had these 3 mini stories in it. And so the wraparound story we figured out pretty early was the gang going on a vacation together. And, you know, we're working with Lucasfilm and, you know, people are literally working on the stories behind the ship and the Halcyon. And someone said, oh, we have this thing in development. I truthfully can't remember if it had been announced yet. I feel like when they said it, I hadn't heard of it. And they said, we have this thing, it would be a great setting. We're like, that's perfect. And so once they sort of said this existed, it was like, oh, wow, cruise ship. Like that's what a great place for the gang to go on. So it feels all very organic and sort of honors the universe and sort of the expanded universe and everything that's coming out.
Very cool.
Very cool. So, really one of the beautiful things about all of these Lego Star Wars shorts that you guys have been putting together is that while they're obviously a ton of fun to watch, they're also anchored in some very powerful lessons that adults can discuss with the kids in their lives. Ray's lesson in the holiday special is that she can't sacrifice those important moments in her life just because she's burdened with the pressure and the weight of rebuilding the Jedi Order. And then in Terrifying Tales, we have Poe helping Dean understand that it's okay to admit that he's afraid. What's the big lesson that Finn learns in summer vacation?
I think it's the moment of sort of learning to enjoy those moments as they happen in life. You know, we talk about it being, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey, and carrying that emotion, feeling that, sort of recognizing you'll have these moments as we all grow up. And I think it's particularly true as a kid. And Sam and I think you're right around the age where, like, you know, you go to summer camp and then camp is over and it's like, am I going to see those camp friends again? And recognizing you have these moments and to try to kind of enjoy them within the moment. And just, it's not entirely dissimilar to what Ray learned about just making sure you're having a little presence in what's going on in your life, and that enjoy those things as they happen.
Yeah, Ken, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, like David said it very eloquently. I don't really have anything else to say. I mean, yeah, it's the importance of just being in the moment and the importance of like prioritizing your friends over whatever your plan is.
That's awesome. So, you know, obviously you guys talk about going on summer vacation as kids and maybe going on summer vacation with your kids. What's your favorite summer vacation memory, each of you?
Ken, while you're thinking, I will share. I went to this summer camp I'm sort of alluding to that I went to for several years. I went back and worked at for several years. One of my bunk mates, one of the first guys I ever met, was the officiant at my wedding. This summer camp just meant the world to me. It was 8 weeks away. It was far from home. And so I didn't know anybody, and it was a real growing experience. And just, it was a really well-run, wonderful summer camp that I felt so thrilled to get to go to. So those memories always last really strong for me.
That's awesome. That's fun. What about you, Ken?
I mean, I think for me, it's probably multiple ones, but prior to moving to Vancouver, where I now live, I lived in Toronto, and my wife and daughter and I would every summer get the same campsite at this campsite on Lake Erie, and we'd go there, and Quinn just loved the beach. And I'm not a big beach person, but it was like she loved it so much, I'd go and deal with the beach and with my books while they played in the water. And so that sort of yearly kind of ritual that we had for quite a long time.
That's very cool.
I'm curious, do any of you have a favorite family vacation?
Wow.
I'll throw the question back at the questioners. So I'm just curious.
Absolutely. I love that. Sam, do you have a favorite summer vacation moment?
I mean, it's tough to say just because we've done a lot, but we went on an RV tour once, which was that's a saga in and of its own. It could be a whole movie saga, but while it was riddled with misfortune at times.
If you've seen the movie RV with Robin Williams, that was our existence for about 6 months. So
we got to see parts of the country that some people will never get to see, and just it was such like a bonding moment for our family. So while we look back at it and laugh, there was definitely a lot of really amazing moments that came from that trip.
It's awesome. What about you, Sam?
It's hard to think of it because we go on a lot of trips, and we always have. We lived in Orlando for a while, and so a summer was filled with Disney. That was a lot of fun going to that all the time, and just being able to. I mean, that was our first experience with Galaxy's Edge when we lived down there, and being able to experience that was just mind blowing. And
absolutely,
it's so much fun going there and being able to experience Star Wars firsthand and being so immersed in all these stories. And I was so lucky to go as many times as I was able to, and it's crazy. Yeah. So
I would say that part of the RV trip for me was we took an excursion. We left the RV parked. We got in our car. We were in Pittsburgh area. We drove 4 hours and we spent a weekend in New York City. And we went to musicals for the entire weekend. And we saw Wicked and Les Mis and a bunch of stuff like that because my wife and I were both involved in theater when we were younger and doing, musicals and things. And so going there and being able to participate in that was one of my favorite memories. So that's awesome.
That sounds, all that sounds incredible. And sort of, it was kind of hearing that, like, and Sam, you kind of drilled into it. Like, that's part of what we were conveying. It's like conveying in the specials, like some of it is this stuff that goes wrong. It's fun. And it's never that fun in the moment, but you sort of look back on it and laugh. And then, but also that you get these great moments, whether, as you said, going to Galaxy's Edge, you're seeing Wicked, like you'll never forget those. Like those so we were, all that stuff. We tried to, all those feelings were things we were trying to incorporate into the special.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's also part of, the experience that's out there with Star Wars now, with being able to do Galaxy's Edge, being able to do the, Halcyon and all these kinds of things. You get to tie your love for a galaxy far, far away into these experiences and such. It's going to be so much fun. Thank you guys so much for joining us this week on Tatooine Sons. We're super excited, and we'll make sure everybody that we know checks out Lego Star Wars Summer Vacation on August 5th.
Thank you, guys. It was great to be back. Thanks for having us again.
Well, that was cool. BB Nate. You kind of impressed David Shayne there with the interview with Michael Uslan.
I'm still pinching myself. Did that ever happen? That's still crazy.
That's awesome. I pinch myself every time we get to do any of these things.
For real.
It's crazy.
With this. So what do you guys think about the conversation that we just had with them?
Oh, it's fun. They're always super fun. Oh, it's tough to get Ken to say anything sometimes.
Well, he's the director, right? He's the one that says you speak and then just
exactly.
Quiet.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Doesn't need to.
But when he speaks, he has
good things to say.
Yeah,
it's always fun. I hope we get to do another one of these sometime.
Yeah,
it's always a ton of fun.
We're just lucky that we get any at all.
Exactly. I'm talking with them. I want to do another Lego Star Wars special. That'd be great.
Maybe a musical.
Maybe.
Let's hope. But I had one of those moments when we were doing this. I'm like, we're some tiny podcast in a closet right now, and we're getting to do this. This is crazy.
Yeah, it's insane.
It is awesome. So we've had so many of those experiences over the last 4.5 almost 5 years now. Can you believe it's almost been 5 years?
That's crazy.
Gosh, we're closer to 5 years than 4 by far. With that, well, let's talk about Lego Star Wars Summer Vacation because we've seen it with that. So it's coming out Fridays. It is. Don't spoil anything here, but thoughts, reactions to the Lego Star Wars Summer Vacation. BB Nate, I'll let you go first.
It's always a lot of fun. Every one of these is a ton of fun, and some of the storylines that they took were really good. I think that the characters were very well done, very well written, and everything about it was just very good. Surprisingly, I came into this expecting, like every other one, I'm expecting something good, but not, like as
like you
good
walk
as
away going, wait, that was really
exactly
fun.
And I always do that with these. It's a vicious cycle, and I don't think I'll ever
up on you.
They always sneak up on me. And
what about you, Sam?
I love them.
Yeah, I mean, it has the typical Lego fun. Somehow they always manage to just bring out some of the best jokes, and like it's just as self-aware as it could be. All the jokes that we know about Star Wars and stuff, they make the jokes about too. So it's fun. But yeah, even the stories, it's set up like the other shorts where there's kind of like multiple stories woven into the one, and even those stories are super fun, and they explore interesting like different characters and timelines and things. So. Yeah, I mean, you go into it, and after 45 minutes, you're like, that was like a fun time. I just had a good time with it.
I have to mention the soundtrack in this one was
really good.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah. Like it grabs you at
it
times.
Does.
Like emotional.
Like there are times when you're like actually emotional due to the
music
scene,
starts playing, and you're like,
and due to the music, and you're like, this is why I love Star Wars right here. These moments.
Yep. Dad?
Yeah, I loved it. As a kid who grew up on like my guy was Weird Al, seeing Weird Al in this thing
was cool. Yes. Well, spoiler, but
I mean but you've seen him in the trailer, so everybody
that was fantastic.
That was fun.
With it, James Arnold Taylor coming back and voicing Obi-Wan Kenobi was awesome. All the voice cast is great. It is fun to see this from the perspective of Finn this time, and they kind of, not really much of a spoiler. It's in the very opening of this. They're kind of going down the he's a Jedi track.
Yeah, no, they basically confirm it. Yeah.
So maybe we see that kind of thing.
I hope so. I hope so
someday. Well, I hope we do. So, it was funny because I was thinking about this before we even interviewed David and Ken, but then David really drove this point home at the end there. So I think it's time for a really good dad moment.
I am your father.
So before either of you guys were born, Mom and I made a decision that we weren't going to spend a lot of money on buying you things. We were going to invest in memories. We would do things together as a family. And that means you guys talked about it in the interview. When David asked this, you've been on lots of trips and lots of vacations with it. We've been all over the country and even the world, in different places.
Yep.
And as a part of that, we've had a lot of fun. But the most important part of those trips isn't just going to Disneyland or seeing Wicked on Broadway. It's about our being together and creating lasting memories.
Yep.
Trust me. When you're 47 years old, you're going to remember going to a Denver Broncos game as a kid. But what will really stick with you is being together with your family while you watch it. Lego Star Wars Summer Vacation. It releases Friday, August 5th.
Yep.
Not your birthday.
No.
For some reason, I've always tried to get that confused that that's your birthday.
It's 8/8.
Really?
Yeah. It was because it was 8/8/5.
Yeah.
And
but
so
that's
I
the
get it in
year.
my head that it's 8/5/5. But that's not it. It's 8/8/5. Happy birthday, BB Nate.
Thank you.
It's a little
Happy birthday.
early. But anyway, it'll come out Friday. So set your reminders. You're not going to want to miss it.
No, it was fantastic.
It was. All right. So the Suns are 2 for 2 so far on Is It Canon, our new segment with it. So let's see if I can pull a fast one on them this week.
This is not going to go the way you think.
All right. So as we've been talking the last couple episodes, here's how this segment works. I give a description of something I found on Wikipedia, 2 E's, by the way. Wiki. They tweeted out about that today. They're like, please, people, it's 2 E's. Anyway, you guys make an argument for whether or not you think it's canon or legends and why. Are you guys ready for this one?
Ready.
All right. Stam Reith.
Stam Reith?
Stam Reith. It's a name. He's a force-sensitive human male. Stam Reith and his sister Na'at were given to Na'at.
All right.
Yeah. Were given to the Jedi Order for training in the ways of the Force by their parents, studying together at the Coruscant Jedi Temple during the Separatist crisis. which would play the Galactic Senate for nearly a decade. Reath was selected as a Padawan by Jedi Master Ahu Shenjon, while his sister remained at the temple. Selected as part of Master of the Order Mace Windu's task force that was sent to rescue Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker, and Padme Amidala, Senator Amidala from Geonosis. Reath and Shenjon rushed to the planet to fight during the opening salvo of the Clone Wars.
See, we can't use timelines as a crutch for this one, really, because it's set.
But I just feel like there is so much to this that could be canon, but it would be in a prequel book that we haven't read. This doesn't have to do with anything from the movies.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to do with any of the games unless it's a Legends game that we don't know about, because we know the canon games pretty well.
My guess is it sounds like something that'd be in a comic. It gives me vibes of like a storyline you'd see in a comic. I've
never heard of that
short
master
issue
before.
Huh?
I've never heard of that master.
Yeah, but there's lots of masters.
I feel like it'd be like a short run series, just a few issues, maybe like in another character's storyline, but like an offshoot
Age of the Republic or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And like just a quick offshoot to kind of still furthering the story, the larger story of whatever is taking place in, but following a separate set of characters.
Okay. Any thoughts from you?
I feel like this can't be Legends because we can't have Legends 3 times in a row.
I haven't been keeping track, so
I don't know if we could. I don't know what this could be from. The only thing could be is a comic, because I don't think that there would be a canon novel that would fit in this, unless it's like a children's book.
It could be,
but then that would be I don't know.
So BB Nate, canon or Legends?
I guess canon.
I think we're agreeing on canon.
Canon. All right. So the source for this was Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds Clone Campaigns. It's an expansion pack of the Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds video game that was released shortly after the theatrical release of Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones. It introduced 2 more playable civilizations and 2 more campaigns, that of the Confederacy of Independent Systems and the Galactic Republic. Actually an interquel. It also added new features and updates to the game corpus that affected all the campaigns. The Clone Campaigns expansion added more units such as the Decimator and the Air Cruiser, support for movable power supplies, and more. Therefore, it is Legends now. Gotcha.
If it was from a game, it couldn't be.
Yeah,
canon.
I don't even know if I've heard of that game.
Yeah, that's good.
That's interesting.
Nice. I'm a winner. All right, Sam.
Yeah.
You finally get to talk Lord of the Rings.
Finally.
There, go for it.
All right. San Diego Comic-Con gave us tons of new Rings of Power news, but most excitingly, we got a new trailer. And since we haven't gotten to talk much...
We talked a
little bit about Rings of Power, but like hardly any, and no real like segments dedicated to Lord of the Rings yet at all in the entirety of this podcast. So I figured, what better time to start talking about that than now? So we're going to discuss a couple interesting points raised by the trailer, as well as what we'd like to see.
Be on your guard. There are older and fouler things than orcs in the deep places of the world.
All right, then, keep your secrets.
You're coming to us. Is as the footsteps of steps.
There are many magic rings in this world, Bilbo Baggins, and none of them should be used lightly.
You did a whole breakdown of the original trailer.
I did?
You did.
Oh, I remember that.
So this is not the first time we talked
I know,
about
I'm
for an entire segment.
Fool.
You made a mistake. It's all right. I'm not
Thanks
ashamed.
for... Well, yeah. Yeah, no, it feels like it a little bit.
I'm a little frustrated about
Do you might want to switch the notes, Dad?
Oh, why?
Because
I'm on the wrong
those are
notes.
not my
You're on
notes.
the wrong notes.
I guess, Sam, there you go.
There we go.
Thank you.
Yeah, sir.
All right. Well, first off, one of the things that in my research for this segment, I kind of ended up just going on a bit of a wiki rabbit hole, as I tend to do with these sort of things. I used to do that with when we break down like the Marvel shows and stuff too. So that ended up eating a bunch of my time, but it was very interesting.
Yeah, you were there for a while.
I was in there for a while, and a lot of it was I started getting interested in the
So
timeline.
you need to understand, when they say you were in there for a while, I lock them individually in a closet until their notes are done. So,
yes.
No, I'm just kidding. That's
we can edit that out, right?
No, we're not. They know better. All right.
But I specifically got interested in what the timeline of things are based on some of the events that we know we're going to see in this series. And I wanted to talk about that with y'all. So first off, one of the things that Galadriel mentions, I think it's like the first line she says in the new trailer is, "We thought the war at last was ended." This is referring to the War of Wrath, which was a 40-year war against Morgoth, Sauron's like boss, I guess. Like he's basically Satan in the Lord of the Rings storyline. He was an angel who turned bad.
That's pretty satanic.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty
Luciferian even.
Wow, that's a big word. Is that an actual word? Did you just make it up?
Luciferian.
Okay. But this war is what ended the First Age.
Okay.
And then, interestingly, we see, like, in the previous trailer, I mentioned this, we see the two trees, and they were destroyed in the First Age by Morgoth and Ungoliant, the giant spider. But interestingly, the War of Wrath takes place over 500 years after that event.
So there's some timeline changes in this world.
And you'll see more of that. And then Sauron arises 500 years after the War of Wrath, so another huge time jump. And then the War of Elves and Sauron takes place over 1,000 years after Sauron shows up.
Right.
And then finally, the last alliance of elves and men, the thing that we see in the prequel, the prelude to Lord of the Rings, takes place 2,000 years.
Director's cut.
In the director's cut, yeah. Takes place 2,000 years.
The definitive cut.
Yes.
After that war. So there's tons of time jumps in this storyline. Yeah, Nate.
I'll take this. You were going to ask your question. I was going to let you ask your question. I can see your nose.
Thanks. You're leading the segment for me
right now, aren't we?
How do you think they're going to handle such massive time jumps and so many of them in this series?
So as you were getting your wisdom teeth surgery, I was actually following this panel. And everything they were saying and all that stuff. And they were kind of talking about this a little bit. The war that you're talking about,
I talked about like 3.
The main one, the one that, ends the First Age.
War of Wrath.
They said is gonna most likely cap off the prologue that they do in the show.
Okay.
They're gonna be doing a prologue. And they also said that this show is gonna be at least a 50-hour journey through 5 seasons is what they're planning right now.
Okay.
So we have a lot of time for them to do time jumps.
Okay.
We definitely could take one of these eras per season.
Okay.
At this point, which I wouldn't surprise if that's where they're going with it, because there are a lot of things that they need to explain. They need to explain. I don't know if you mentioned this. Do you mention the stranger in your notes?
Not in this segment, no, because it didn't really come up.
They introduced him in this, and he's going to be a big deal. And we don't know who he is, and they are super adamant in how he's super important to the story.
Okay.
And I don't know if we'll find out who he is.
I'm sure glad you watched this panel, BB Nate.
I didn't watch it. I just followed it. And the stranger, everybody's thinking he's Gandalf right now, and that's probably who it is.
I could see it.
We also found out that the main point of view of this story is going to be from the hobbits.
I thought so.
Oh, it's not Galadriel.
The Harfoots.
No, it's the Harfoots are going to be kind of like the everyman for the story.
Yep.
Okay.
But Galadriel is going to be kind of the main character.
Well, you can do that. You can do these time jumps because you're dealing with elves and they live thousands of years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you can have the same actors and the same characters being across those different things. I do think that that's been one of the concerns and the criticisms of this series from the very beginning, was that they were jamming all of these ideas into too short of a time range. So it could be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah. Do you think that the story might be too ambitious, though?
I don't. I think that they've just wanted to tell a normal epic Lord of the Rings story, and they do have a lot to explain, because there's a lot we don't know about this era, and a lot that we have to figure out, and a lot we have to know about Sauron and Morgoth and the two trees, and all of that is something we need to find out. But I don't think that we will get overwhelmed or get confused or anything like that, because I think, strangely enough, the people that have spent 5 years on this know what they're doing with this show.
Yeah. What didn't they consult Tolkien scholars and stuff?
They had a group of Tolkien scholars that they worked with on a day-to-day basis, and they pulled just from the lore that was already established and then created off of that.
Which
wasn't one of Tolkien's grandsons or something like that also involved in?
I think so. I'm not sure.
I think I heard something like that. Yeah, but also, isn't that just so cool that a writer can become so influential that there's scholars off of his work? A modern fiction writer.
Now we have like career goals for you guys.
I was gonna say, is there like a Star Wars scholar, like a Lucas scholar?
Wow.
That'd be cool.
That would be so cool.
Right? But I just think that's an interesting point.
We have we know two of them. Matt Martin and Pablo Hidalgo.
Yeah, that's a good point. Right. And Dave Filoni.
Exactly.
They're going to found the school.
Right.
Now, the main kind of overarching plot that's talked about in the trailer and stuff is this growing evil, right? And this looming threat of Sauron. That's the whole plot and point of this show. If there's this... Some believe that that buzz cut blonde guy we see in the trailer a couple times.
I think it's been confirmed.
Yeah, that was confirmed during the panel.
It was confirmed.
Yeah,
okay,
they
I couldn't
talked about
see anything anywhere. It wasn't in like any casting lists. So
they didn't put him in the casting list.
Okay,
but it's
that
Sauron.
is Sauron. Okay, interesting.
Which works. I mean, the concept art and at least the fan art for that's been going around for years, decades of Sauron looks very
like
similar.
fan art.
Yeah, it looks very similar. So
okay, so you like this look for Sauron?
I do. Okay. I think it looks it fits. I don't get all the people saying he looks strange. I feel like how he looks works for this kind of evil-ish, this just dark looking character. And yeah,
I have a different mindset with it.
All right, let's hear it.
Of course.
Now my opinion is a little bit biased because I played
Shadow of War.
I still need to finish, but I played Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor, which are great games. They're not canon, so you kind of have to take them with a grain of salt. But a main story in them is about Sauron coming to Celebrimbor to forge the rings, and in that he's disguised as a I guess fair is the best way to describe him. Fair looking elf, right? So he looks, like a nice dude, I guess is the best way to explain it. But obviously he turns out to be evil. And I was kind of expecting something more along the lines of that in this show. I mean, I guess Sauron in this, he's not like evil or ugly looking like an orc, but I was expecting something more along the lines of an elf.
The pictures that I've seen though, I could see could see him being an elf.
Yeah, definitely.
With it. So maybe maybe it's
also,
this is the danger of headcanon.
No,
right?
absolutely. I know. I'm saying that's why I have these opinions, is I have a headcanon.
Right after the trailer, they put up a bunch of casts on the panel, and they were talking about Celebrimbor a lot. Even the actor was talking about him, and he's like, he's a very well put together elf. Celebrimbor is very, very powerful, but he's also very insecure and can be manipulated super easily, and we'll be seeing that in this series, is what he said. So it's going to be going the direction you're thinking it is, but I think that Sauron looks fine for what we're seeing, and we saw him for maybe 3 frames in the entire trailer. Right. There's not enough to judge if his character looks bad or not, because the angles we got are just really strange to judge that.
Did they give any mention of Celebrimbor having a family or anything in the panel? Do you remember seeing any of that?
They didn't talk about that. They didn't really want to talk about the backstory as much. They just kind of wanted to talk about what it was like to be on filming, kind of little bits of the characters. I even watched the Q&A after the panel.
The stream of that.
They aren't giving much out. They're even saying themselves, there's not much we can give out. There's a lot of secrecy behind this show that they're trying to keep before the show comes out.
Well, I think that's good. I think that they need to keep things secret.
Yeah,
because you're dealing with stories that people seem to know, and you need to do twists. This is what they were trying to do with Halo.
Yeah.
But I don't think they succeeded with.
No, they didn't. Oh my gosh.
With this. But I do think that from what I'm seeing in the trailers and what I'm hearing about that, I feel like they've got a better chance of succeeding on this.
I agree.
Interesting. Yeah, so I want to ask you guys what you hope to see in this series, and I'll give you like a brief list of some of the major events that we could see based on things we've heard or whatever.
Okay.
There's the destruction of the 2 trees, which we've seen the 2 trees, and we know that they're not there in the Second Age. So there's that. The War of Wrath, which is mentioned, and I think you mentioned that I'm probably going to see
something
that.
else. Yeah.
The forging of the Rings of Power, which is a major, I mean, it's literally the name of the show. The War of the Elves and Sauron. The sinking of Numenor, which is a big, important storyline.
Aragorn, right?
Yeah, Aragorn is from the line of Numenor.
I mean, we see Isildur in this show. He's a big deal in this show.
Right. Okay.
Apparently
I think he's a kid or something.
No, he's a man, and him and Galadriel are basically like the 2 main characters of this show right now.
Interesting.
So.
And then the last alliance of men and elves.
They mentioned in the panel that the Battle of Numenor and the sinking are going to be shown in this show. They're going to be dealing with that. It's going to be a major plot point.
See, that's going to be. I'm curious to see like visually how they explain that, because in Tolkien's writings or whatever, at this point, Numenor is sunk. I think because like it's like sunk by the god of Arda or something like that, because of some sins they committed or something. And it's at this point that Arda, or the Earth, is made round. Every point before then,
so it's flat Earth.
It's flat Earth before that. Yeah,
that's interesting.
It's weird. And then at that point, it's created round. So I wonder.
They said it was going to be a major plot point in this season. So we'll see.
I mean, I want to see the forging of the rings, and I want to see it from the. Oh, you have to see that. It's called the Rings.
At least in the show. I'm not sure if we'll see it in this season.
I just want to. Yeah, I don't know if we'll see it in this season or not, but I want to see it in the show, and I think we will. But I want to understand how, because it's Sauron that makes the rings.
Well, so at least from my understanding of the story, Sauron enlists Celebrimbor to create the rings. Yeah.
And like the actor said, he's
how do you convince the men, the elves, the hobbits, not the hobbits, the dwarves, all of them, that this is the only solution? You know, that the manipulation behind the Rings of Power is the fun thing that I want to see with
that's
this.
what Sauron is known for. And I feel like Celebrimbor is what they've been making is such an influential figure in this show. And so kind of what he says, if he's convinced by this Sauron figure that this is the way, then
this is the way.
Yeah. If this is the only way, then I feel like the other people are going to listen to him. And I feel like that's what's just going to happen. And it's going to be devastating for them.
Yeah, it's an interesting story in the Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor games, the whole Celebrimbor thing. I think, you know, Sauron comes to the elves and the men and all that as a sort of wise kind of
as an angel of light.
Yeah, basically saying, hey, you know, I know this, we can do that. And he enlists Celebrimbor to create the rings. Obviously, we know why he does it later. And then the reason why I asked about the family is at this point, Sauron turns and he at least in the games, I don't know if this is how it works in the books, but he kills Celebrimbor's family right in front of him and then kills Celebrimbor and stuff. And that's when everything just starts going downhill. So I would be really interested to see.
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that.
Yeah. And we see, I think in one of the scenes, there's an anvil in the trailer with a weird ice rune or something on it. So that could be part of where they forge the rings.
I don't know if you know anything about this, but what is that sword of Sauron thing that's being shown?
Nobody's really quite sure what that is.
It's really weird.
Some think that it could be, I don't remember the name of the sword off the top of my head because everything's got a weird name in Lord of the Rings, but let's just be honest. Tolkien loves
the
his
story
language.
that's built around creating a new language. Right. That's the whole purpose of the story. So
some think it could be the sword that ultimately defeats Morgoth. But I'm not sure based on timeline how that would work. It could also just be a completely new thing that they make for the series. But
we see a Balrog in this, so that's cool too.
That's true. That's exciting.
Yeah, I definitely do want to see the last alliance of men and elves.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
That big moment again. I think that we get to see that.
I hear that the what's the name of the dwarf in the show that they're doing? Is it Durin?
Durin, yeah.
They
Durin the fourth,
whatever it is, but they revealed a clip at San Diego Comic-Con of a whole scene where Elrond and Durin are basically having a contest of rock breaking, and they're poking fun at each other a lot like Legolas.
Oh, I can't wait!
That's
and
great.
Say it feels just like Lord of the Rings.
That's so cool.
And so yeah, I'm super excited to see it.
I'm excited. All right.
Well, Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power is set to come out September 2nd, and I am for one.
A month from today.
That is such a busy weekend.
It is.
We got E.T.? No, E.T.'s August 12th.
That's
Jaws.
No Way Home.
No Way Home,
Jaws, No Way Home, and Lord of the
and then we'll be having Andor the week before that.
Jeez, busy.
Goodness.
All right.
And Sam and I just completely said the same thing in the same way at the same time.
That was a little freaky. Moving on. But we're gonna So I'm very excited and can't wait for this new addition to the LOTRCU.
Is that what that's called?
I'm coining it.
Loader coup.
Loader coup. Yeah, no, it doesn't quite roll off the tongue as MCU.
Well, BB Nate, we've got a birthday weekend coming here. Are we going to the movies?
Happy birthday!
Maybe. We're talking about that. Talk about some trailers that are not hopefully part of your San Diego Comic-Con.
They are actually. I looked to make sure that they weren't.
And some box office predictions coming up next.
At last, we will reveal ourselves to the Jedi. At last, we will have revenge.
All right, 2 new releases.
All right. Not going to let that one slide.
Nope.
There we go.
Two new releases this weekend. The first one's Bullet Train. It is the description is in Bullet Train. Brad Pitt stars as Ladybug, an unlucky assassin determined to do his job peacefully after one too many gigs gone off the rails. Fate, however, may have other plans. As Ladybug's latest mission puts him on a collision course with lethal adversaries from around the globe, all with connected yet conflicting objectives on the world's fastest train, and he's got to figure out how to get off. From the director of Deadpool 2, David Leitch, whatever it is. The end of the line is only the beginning in a wild, non-stop thrill ride through modern-day Japan. The director is David Leitch. The cast is Brad Pitt, Joey King, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Craven, and Sandra Bullock. Quicksilver. Both. That's going to be confusing if they put him in.
Sandra Bullock isn't Quicksilver.
No,
Aaron Taylor
Johnson.
Yeah.
Aaron Taylor Johnson. Yes. Studios, Sony Pictures.
That would be an interesting twist. If Sandra Bullock was Quicksilver all of a sudden. Sounds like something DC would do.
Yeah, it does. Ooh, they might have to. Studio Sony Pictures is rated R for strong and bloody violence, pervasive language, and brief sexuality. Going, yes or no?
I think we're trying to go for your birthday. We just can't decide.
I don't know.
We're going. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah, when.
Yeah, we're definitely going to try to see this.
It looks fantastic.
We were hooked from the first trailer.
I was sold. But it's just it's the decision of whether we're going
as
on
your birthday
or not.
party. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Then this next one, the trailer looks terrible. Easter Sunday, a man returns home.
Oh, come on! Now this has got to be a good one. It's about Easter.
No, for a man returns home for an Easter celebration with his riotous, bickering, eating, drinking, laughing, loving family, in this letter to his Filipino American community.
Okay,
now I feel
so it's like Crazy Rich Asians, but for the Filipino American community.
Yes.
Okay. That's great.
The director is Jay. The cast is
Jay Chandler Sekar.
You're just like, it's just Jay.
He's like, I'm not going to try that word.
The cast is Joe Coy. Studios Universal is rated PG-13 for some strong language and suggestive references. I saw this trailer while watching The Office on Freeform, and it looks terrible.
Okay, you don't think so?
I don't think it's something that'll be good.
Not on our list?
No, not on our list.
All right. Well, let's talk about some movies that maybe.
Yeah, for trailers. Oppenheimer. The trailer that played in front
real
of
teaser.
It was just a teaser, but it played in front of Nope, and so they released it online this week. Looks pretty good for what we got from it. Nothing much.
I haven't watched yet. Not yet.
I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be really good. It's definitely a different route for Christopher Nolan.
Yeah,
he's never done a biopic.
Trying something different.
Hey, he knocks it out of the park with pretty much every one of his films.
Every one of his films is great. This next one, Pinocchio by Guillermo del Toro. I didn't watch the trailer. I'm going to at some point. I just, from what I've heard, it looks fun. It looks interesting. And he's a good director. Yeah. So I think that'll be good.
Tom Hanks is Geppetto.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
it's stop motion.
It is.
So
as far as some of the creatures and stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, he did a great job with Pacific Rim. So
yeah, that was so weird. I was watching that the other day, and I saw it was Guillermo del Toro.
It's his favorite movie he's done.
That's funny.
He says he absolutely.
What are some other ones that he's done? I can't remember.
He did that Shape of
weird
Water,
movies.
which is weird, and he's done some other really weird movies. He's a weird guy, but hey, I'll watch it. For box office predictions, DC League of Super Pets, 31 million domestic. Nope, 20 million domestic. That's about a 50% drop off second weekend.
It didn't hit what projections were.
That's not good. Thor: Love and Thunder, 13.5 million domestic. It's just not performing.
Yeah.
It's like 5 weeks in now.
Yeah. It's just after that, like 80% drop off its first weekend, it's kind of had a bit of difficulty. Yeah.
Good job, Nate.
Good job.
Do it again.
Segment.
Yes. All right. So San Diego Comic-Con was a lot of fun this year, but the big news belonged to Marvel. leaving DC as a footnote.
Definitely.
But I can't let DC go unnoticed, so let's talk about all the big stuff we got from them this year.
Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Yeah, I can fly.
I'm here to fight for truth and justice in the American way.
The people in this room, which one is A, wearing a spangly outfit, and B, not of use?
There's only one God, man, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't dress like that.
That man has no limits.
Superman the Most season 2 is on HBO Max now.
Yeah, it's done.
Yeah.
I looked at like the reviews for the last couple episodes, and they say they get better.
Okay, well,
no. The one we have, like the next one,
is considered the worst.
Is considered not that great. But the two after that, they say it gets pretty good.
Well, maybe we'll check it out.
Maybe we will. We have 3 episodes left, so it doesn't really matter.
Right.
But I guess we'll start with DC.
It won't take long.
This is all everything that DC revealed this year. Not including this includes, the panel that they did Saturday morning, which was then kind of forgotten about after Marvel took that away Saturday night, and then everything else they revealed throughout the whole convention. So DC did kind of show up. They revealed a couple trailers for Shazam: Fury of the Gods and Black Adam, but that was really it for their beginning panel. Nothing shocking or newsworthy like we were hoping. Shocking, I guess they kind of had something shocking, Black Adam coming up and all that stuff.
Yeah,
that
it was
cool.
like a presentation was awesome.
Yeah, the presentation was great, but other than that, nothing much. Dad, since you're a big Shazam guy, what did you think of the Shazam trailer?
Felt like Shazam.
It did. It looks like a lot of fun.
The idea of him being afraid to grow up, even though he says Shazam and becomes an adult, I think is hilarious. With it, I'm excited. I'm still not really clear on the bad guys in this one.
Yeah, I'm not yet either.
What is it? The daughters of
Alice, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway,
something.
Yeah, Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu.
Yeah,
yeah.
But it should be fun. I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, I'm totally in. I love Shazam.
Yeah,
so.
It looks like they're keeping the family aspect of pretty
that's
big
cool.
part of
that show, or that
for sure.
Yeah.
Sam, what did you think of the Black Adam trailer? And are you interested in the movie?
I am interested. I think it looks better than I thought it would be. Not that I was like, had low expectations for it, but DC's been hit or miss lately. So I had tempered expectations. I guess that's the way to put it. But yeah, it looks really good. I know very little about the character, but they already got me interested in him and his history and all that. Plus the Dr. Fate stuff is going to be super cool.
That's the biggest part I'm there for. So.
Yeah. So I think it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm curious to see what they do with the character later, because it's set like a few years, like, when is it set? It's not set in modern time, right? It's not set when like the rest of the DCEU is taking place, is it?
I think it's set close to that time, yeah.
Oh, it is?
I'm
Okay.
sure.
I thought it was like...
No, it's set in modern times. Basically.
Okay, I thought it was like in the
I'm
80s
excited
or
about
something.
Hawkman.
Yeah, I think
Hawkman was always one for whatever reason. Watching the Justice League and
Justice League Unlimited, great shows.
No, that Justice League Unlimited. I was an adult.
Yeah,
that's sad. It's a
the
good show.
Original Justice League stuff, Super Friends and all that.
Oh, you're talking Super Friends?
Yeah. Hawkman was one that I was always really intrigued.
He was cool in Justice League and Justice League Unlimited too. He had a big part in those shows too. So I'm excited for him too. I think that Cyclone and Atom Smasher are going to be fun too.
Atom Smasher is
I think both. I think the JSA is going to be a lot of fun to see in this. The Justice Society of America.
Right.
I'm excited, and I'm more excited just for Dr. Fate than anything. But this next one, it was kind of their second biggest thing that they did. The Sandman. It had a new trailer and some clips that came out. I watched them. It looks really weird, and that's about it for that because I haven't read the comics and I don't know what to expect.
And didn't they make like an audio book or something?
Well, they did right
it?
before this.
Yeah,
people that are big Sandman fans really were excited by this trailer.
Oh yeah, I mean, one of the clips, I think it was from like the episode 6 that they revealed the clip from. was like very good. It dealt with like death and all that stuff, but it was fantastic. And then they had another clip from episode 4 that dealt with Lucifer, and I was worried how they're going to deal with that. But they don't make it like the Lucifer from the CW or the Netflix show that they had, like the attractive looking man. No, it's a manipulative little evil kind of. It's played by who plays Phasma?
Phasma?
Yeah, who plays Phasma?
Gwendolyn Christie?
Yes, it's Lucifer is played by Gwendolyn Christie.
Yep.
And she nails the role.
Okay, now I'm curious.
and it's really, honestly, it looks good, but I just don't know what to expect from it because I don't
give it a
really know
shot.
what it is for.
I haven't watched any of these trailers.
What will this be on? HBO
It's
Max?
Netflix. It's a Netflix show. Yeah, and I don't know.
So
but
it's a binge show.
Yeah, might be worth
Probably,
checking
yeah.
out when it comes
If it's
out.
not a hard MA, because I know that the comics can get pretty dark, and I know that the whole show is very dark. But
So is this a DC Vertigo story?
It is,
Yeah,
but
it
stuff from this was put into the DC universe. Like, you have Constantine's sister in this, I'm pretty sure, and you had Constantine introducing it, and you had Swamp Thing and all that stuff. That a lot of it was big deal from Sandman. This next part, Malo's only movie and TV show news. It seems like DC went back in time to honor the comic part of San Diego Comic-Con with the huge announcement of Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, which we talked about last week. But,
That's exciting.
do y'all think that DC fell short this year?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's a think. They did. DC has been getting upstaged for years now, and I feel bad because like DC has such interesting characters, and I want DC to do well. I don't think it needs to be a competition between Marvel and DC. I think they both have their own things that work for them, right? But I feel like this would have been the best time for DC to come almost not out on top, but kind of pull itself out of the mud for a bit. Because Marvel is kind of, I don't want to say stagnant, but it kind of feels like it's just running in place right now. And if DC, this could have been a great chance for DC to come out ahead by announcing something massive, and they just didn't.
No.
So
I'm wondering if they're going to have another fandom soon, and they're trying to like.
I've heard rumors of a
back.
fandom. So
like, but
yeah, they need to do something.
I mean, if they have another fandom, it has to be better than what we got last year. The only big thing from last year was a Batman trailer.
That was pretty good though.
But it wasn't worth like.
And the Flash stuff.
Yeah,
we did get that Flash teaser, which
and
was
some
really
Black
good
Adam
too.
stuff.
A little.
Yeah, it was.
So never mind. It's some big stuff.
It was okay, but it was a lot. It was like 7 hours of just wasted time.
No, because they really wanted to spend time on the comics and just other things going on, animated, and they spent a lot of time.
And I wonder why they didn't announce anything the Batman at San Diego Comic-Con, because like
they just announced stuff at CinemaCon.
Yeah, but they could have given us a little something more, because that's really what is working for DC right now.
Well, I think the biggest thing that happened with the DC stuff though was all of the rumors that were being treated like confirmed facts.
Right, that hurt.
Henry Cavill was going to be announced as returning as Superman, and when that didn't happen, it was just like all of the air got let out of the room at that point.
It's not like Warner Brothers doesn't know what they need to do. All they need to do is restore the Snyderverse and bring Henry Cavill back as Superman, and fans will praise them. It's not like it's a complicated equation here for them to figure out what they want. Do more Robert Pattinson Batman right now and do it well. Just basically keep Matt Reeves on it and restore the Snyderverse. And you've basically fixed DC at this point for the time being.
Yeah, as far
and
as
they just won't do it for some reason.
You know, at least you're putting out content that people want to watch.
Right. And they're just not doing it for some reason. They want money. I don't know why they're not like doing things to make money.
Want my money?
Like it's not hard.
It was just they don't know what they're doing. I feel like they know what they're doing on the comic side, which is great, and they know what they're doing animated. But they need to figure out their live action stuff.
Well, that's a Warner Brothers issue.
They can't figure it out right now.
Hold on. DC itself manages comics, and DC itself seems to be managing animated.
It is.
Yes.
So Warner Brothers manages the film side. And other than a few moments where things just sort of like pop for them. Original Wonder Woman, even Aquaman. That wasn't a story we liked, but it was huge.
Shazam popped.
Shazam popped. More popped though in the back end. It didn't really do great in the theaters, from what I remember.
It did okay. It did good for a Disney movie.
It's gotten more of an more excitement though.
I wouldn't be surprised if Shazam 2 made more.
Shazam 2 will do great. With that, they just don't have a clear vision of what they're trying to do now. And I think that, and then you hold on, but then you bring in, you've got the Shazam stuff, which is clearly DCEU. It's clearly in the same universe as the Snyderverse or, Justice League stuff, at least. I mean, you see in the trailer, you're seeing Aquaman, you're seeing
Batman, you're seeing Flash.
You're seeing the Flash. So, just do it. Just go there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they can't.
This is your segment, so you can do what you
plan
want.
out anything with Ezra Miller in that situation.
I think that's the biggest issue.
It's difficult because they can't plan stuff. And
that's a good point.
That's hard. But for Marvel, Marvel had a pretty big year. A lot of events.
It was a good San Diego Comic-Con for them.
It was. So let's focus on the new stuff. We got a little more, and not what we already know. We will be talking about some stuff that we do know, but the big stuff, Daredevil. We'll be getting a new show titled Daredevil Born Again coming in 2024, 18 episode first season.
That's huge, guys.
And you'll also be appearing in She-Hulk, Echo, most likely. I don't know if it's been confirmed yet or not, but I'm pretty sure it's been confirmed. And Spider-Man Freshman Year, all played by Charlie Cox.
Yes. Let's do it.
Yes. Y'all excited that Daredevil is coming back or appearing in the MCU finally?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's super exciting. He's kind of like how everybody thinks that, Henry Cavill is Superman, and you just got these actors who are their characters. Charlie Cox just is Daredevil.
And Vincent D'Onofrio is Kingpin.
Yeah, like they have nailed casting.
Yeah,
with that.
They did great. This next one, the Thunderbolts movie, was announced to be capping off Phase 5.
That's exciting.
Kind of saw that one coming, but the fact that it's been announced,
it's huge. So who do y'all think will be in the Thunderbolts, and are y'all excited for it?
Well, first, I thought it was going to be a series, so I think it's super cool that we're getting a movie. I'm excited for that. It's going to kind of be like the Suicide Squad.
It is.
Probably.
It's going to be Marvel's answer to Suicide Squad.
Yeah, but we're going to, John Walker, Zemo, Yelena.
Yelena's a part of that.
Jeez. They've been setting up a bunch of characters, and I can't remember who needs to be. Maybe Sylvie, if they can find a way to bring her in naturally.
That'd be weird.
I'm trying to remember who else. At least those four for now. But I feel like there's probably one more.
Do you think Kamran from Miss Marvel might get in there now that he has powers?
Oh, that'd be cool.
I think he kind of had that vibe. He'd fit more in like a Young Avengers. That's why
he's too anti-hero-esque right now.
Yeah, I think I like the idea that you go there.
I feel like he would do better in
Thunderbolts. The guys are the Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
like said,
I feel like he'd be doing better in Thunderbolts.
That's cool.
And the biggest announcements from the NCU panel was the 2 Avengers films being released.
I thought they were never going to do any more Avengers films. Didn't they say that like 3 months ago?
I don't know, but Kevin Feige said that Avengers films are not phase cappers; they are saga cappers now. So they will be finishing.
I think that's good.
But they will be released in 2025, both in the same year. Avengers King Dynasty,
that's big,
and Avengers Secret Wars. And they promise that Secret Wars will be like, I don't know how much times bigger, but it'll be bigger than Endgame was.
I don't know how that's possible.
Unless you bring
here's how they do that.
They're opening multiverse.
They're opening the multiverse. They are tying that into Sony. Sony's doing Madam Web. Sony's doing all these other things right now. Madam Web is critical to
Morbius, which I'm sure if you put Morbius in the movie,
honestly, at this point, people would actually like it just because it's ironic.
Venom over, bring in
the X-Men,
bring in the
X-Men.
Deadpool, have Deadpool just walk across the screen just to like.
If they somehow, I don't know if this is possible,
Chimichanga,
but if they get the 20th Century Fox cast of Fantastic Four in that movie,
I mean,
that would be crazy because they already have Chris Evans, and
that's true.
So they could just get the other people in there, and that would be insane. And you get Patrick Stewart back as Professor X.
Which we already
get whoever plays Jean Grey. I don't remember her name.
Yeah, I can't remember.
You get her. You get some of the original X-Men back.
I remember she was
Hugh Jackman.
Yeah,
as like an old Logan.
You get Logan.
I mean, it's big when you bring in all of that.
You do that, and then it's bigger than Endgame.
You throw in some animated characters from Into the Spider-Verse. You get Miles Morales in there and all that stuff.
Yeah, you do that. It tops Endgame, no problem.
There is rumors right now that Tobey Maguire, Peter Parker will be in Secret Wars in a black suit in a reference to
That's what I heard.
Wars arc that happened.
Oh yeah, because that's how it starts.
Yeah, so it's when
the symbiote. That's how the symbiote starts.
That's what people say Tobey Maguire is going to be like in that movie.
So
it's a big deal. I'm super excited for these movies. I think it's going to be crazy, and there's so much in Phase 6 we don't know. We got Fantastic.
Well, yeah, they've already got like 7 or 8 other movies that are listed as being scheduled.
There's
that they haven't announced,
and they're probably going to announce them at D23.
That's it.
Which is what I think they said during the panel. Expect more surprises at D23. So,
and I think that's where we get some more Star Wars stuff too.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe we'll find out what's going on with Moon Knight.
Yeah,
they got nothing about him.
I know. And they didn't announce any Armor Wars or anything like that.
That's still in production. They said that, but yeah, no Spider-Man either. The Black Panther Wakanda Forever trailer was also released during the panel. What did y'all think of the trailer and how they're handling the title of Black Panther now?
I think they're going a good direction with it. They're not going to try and make it seem like T'Challa is still there while the actor Chadwick Boseman isn't available to play the character and kind of tiptoe around that. They're addressing it, and they're going to make that a sort of main plot point. So it's going to be emotional for 2 reasons. One, the character's gone, as well as the actor. So I think it's a good way to handle it. From what I've been seeing in like Lego sets and stuff, the character who's going to take up the mantle of Black Panther is going to be Shuri, which
not surprised.
I'm cool with that. I think she's going to
kind of been, and that's a comic book thing.
That is
true. So I think they're doing really well with it. The whole Atlantean thing is cool, although it just reminded me of Avatar, The Way of Water, or something like that. It just kind of gave me those vibes. But I think it's gonna be a really interesting story and a really emotional movie, and I'm excited for it.
I think that closing scene where you see what looks like T'Challa and the end of the trailer, it looks like him. I think that's the opening of the movie. And I think that you're never going to see him outside of the mask. You're going to see a moment where he gets killed. And then the entire movie is about Wakanda mourning that and what does that mean going forward and transitioning it. And I think it's going to be a real big tribute to it. I kind of feel like they're going to execute on the idea that we like to put forward between The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, where we wanted them to open The Rise of Skywalker with, General Leia Organa is dead and like her funeral. And then they move forward. So you honor that but you don't like try to remake it. But that's what I think we're going to get with Chadwick.
I think that's a good way to handle it.
I just think it's going to be a great movie. The trailer sold me. I think it's going to be good. We got some animation announcements. They had an animation panel with What If, Marvel Zombies, X-Men 97, and Spider-Man Freshman Year all getting another season after the one they have next. So What If's getting a season 3, and each other one is getting a season 2 with Spider-Man Freshman Year's season 2 titled Sophomore Year.
I thought Marvel Zombies was live action.
No, it's animation.
Oh, it is animation?
It's spawning off the What If episode.
Oh, okay.
And
cool.
Marvel Zombies will also be MA.
It's a zombie
It's just going to be a
story.
slasher, bloody.
It's going to be a zombie film.
What do you think
Marvel.
about that? Do you think that it's warranted for the show, or do you think that it was just a matter of time, or what?
I mean, with them bringing in Daredevil and all that, I think it was only a matter of time. And
Deadpool.
Logan. And I think they're doing it well. It's not just put into a random story to have it in a random. It's a Marvel Zombies story.
And this isn't a main MCU story right now.
Right. And the comics were like this too.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not like they're being untrue to the source material.
No.
Marvel lends itself to going down a rated R or MA path better than Star Wars. There's always that debate. Should Star Wars go rated R? And no, Star Wars shouldn't go rated R because Star Wars is for 12-year-olds. And that's what George Lucas has always said. And that's the way that they should go forward. Let Marvel be Marvel. Comic books have gotten dark and they've been
they haven't been R rated.
No, but they've been some graphic novels.
No, I'm not saying that they haven't, but
it's very different. It's a different situation with it. So I'm cool with that. I'm interested because, they've revealed that Spider-Man Freshman Year is not not on Marvel 616. It's not in the main part.
Which is good because like they were announcing like the Otto Octavius and stuff. I was very confused.
They're announcing Octavius. They're announcing Scorpion. They're announcing.
Well, they're saying that his Spider-Man's mentor
is Norman Osborn.
Yeah. So
and the suits that we see, they revealed for Spider-Man. I'm like, none of these were even mentioned in the movie because he just had the homemade suit. So that's also cool seeing Daredevil in there because I was like, the suit for Daredevil is also different than what we see in She-Hulk.
Yeah.
So I was confused, but I'm happy to hear that.
Very cool.
Marvel definitely buried DC this year at San Diego Comic-Con, but that's expected due to DC never being consistent, sadly. And hopefully their actions speak louder than words when Shazam and Black Adam come out later this year.
All right. Pretty good. Good segment.
Thank you.
Good segment.
Yeah. All right. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
Anything else?
Yeah, the Matrix Oracle actress Mary Alice just passed away recently. It's pretty sad.
It's sad.
Yeah.
She was the one that replaced the one from the original of that.
Yeah. DC fans enthusiastically celebrate Ben Affleck's Aquaman 2 return.
It's actually getting more interaction and engagement on Twitter than their panel at San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Ouch.
That's right.
See, that's what fans want.
Exactly.
It's not,
Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic game that we even talked about in the last episode there. It's been paused indefinitely amid a big studio shakeup. So
isn't the whole Star Wars Eclipse, that's all still...
Yeah, that one's paused too, but for very different reasons.
Well, yeah. But,
with it.
So we just have Jedi Survivor to look forward to.
We do have Jedi Survivor.
We got the look from some action figures for Cal Kestis.
He has that beard.
Yeah, and he's got a blaster now, too.
Very cool.
Looking good.
How uncivilized. All right. I guess that'll pretty much do it for this week. Thank you so much for listening to Tatooine Sons, a pop culture podcast.
Yes, if you had a good time listening, it would be awesome if you could share this with your friends.
Yeah, and of course, the show, it's only a small part of the Tatooine Sons world, so be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter to get in on all of the action. And you can keep up to date with everything we got going on at TatooineSons.com.
That's right. And don't forget to follow the show on your favorite podcast app right now. Like right now, open it up.
Just do it.
Follow or subscribe, depending on the app that you're on, so you don't miss our next episode because... we've got big announcements happening soon, so we're excited about those. Please give us a review on Apple Podcasts. Give us a rating on Spotify or whatever podcast app that you prefer. That'll pretty much do it, I guess. Yeah. Is that it?
I think that's it.
Anything else you guys want to say?
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you, always.
This party's over.
I like that Wookiee.
Don't get technical with me.